Welcome to the second episode of the Running the Ropes podcast. I'm your host, Rabbit, co-host Iceberg's in the house, and returning back from the dead, we got JT Stark.
How's everyone doing?
I'm doing
Yo.
I'm excited. We got a hefty podcast. We got a new format. We're looking good. A lot of things happened since the last one, so we're gonna get straight into it with our Run the Ropes signature segment. This is a quick 3-minute timer. Everybody got to shoot their opinion in the 3 minutes, or you're fucked. So let's run. Let's run it. All right. First topic: is Logan Paul a main eventer? Iceberg, what you think?
I think he could be. I know he's got the heat for it. You know, he's got the name and the brand for it, and he's also a really good wrestler in the ring. I think he learned pretty fast. But if they don't keep the heat on him, and he's kind of getting overshadowed a little bit, I feel like lately, he could lose some steam. You know what I mean? And he definitely needs to stay a heel. I don't want to see him a babyface.
Okay. I see what you're saying, JT.
Okay, me, I think yes and no. I think he could dabble in the main event for sure, but I don't see him being like a multi-time champion or anything. But I will say for celebrity status, he's probably one of the best I've seen transition from being a celebrity to a pro wrestler. When it comes to his in-ring work, to how he is on the mic and the heel he really generates. It's honestly one of the best in the WWE right now. And also he'd have to because I feel like he's carried a lot in his matches too. He hasn't really been into a point where he's actually had someone where he was his flaws weren't shown.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Has some work to do.
Yeah, he's really good in the ring. He's definitely the fastest learning talent I've ever seen as far as coming into the business fresh. But you could tell he's had a lot of help with from Shawn Michaels behind the scenes. He's been put up against really good guys that can help, give it that match. Yeah, if they put him up against some scrub, he might not do as good as he's been doing. So you got to give him credit, but you also got to be a little skeptical of that. And Iceberg was saying, he's got that heat. But why did they put the U.S. title on him? I get it. He's got the profile. He's got the heat. They're trying, fastest rising star. They're trying to give that title some prestige. But then he goes AWOL for 4 months. So it's you can have banger after banger, but what are we doing? You're a part-time wrestler?
I think we got to see more of him to really know how good he actually is.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, like I said, if they don't keep the heat on him, man, he'll lose it quick.
Yeah,
and then they have to go back to be a fucking YouTuber.
Yeah, exactly. There we go. That's the next segment.
Nice.
Yeah, you like that?
Yeah. Kind of reminds me when the police pull up behind you and shit.
Exactly. Oh, fuck. All right. Is a 5-match card the way to go? Recently we've seen all PLEs they can do a 5-match format. We've seen some complaints to this too, saying, there's not enough showcasing going on. It takes too long to get there. Some people say I like it that way. It lets the story build. They don't need to be on the PLE if they can't make the 5 card. What do you think, Iceberg?
Well, I think sometimes less is better. I know back in the day they used to just have, you would turn on a pay-per-view and it'd be 2 matches. You know what I mean? I mean, we're talking in the 80s and stuff, but it really made it a big deal. But I think we're kind of past that now where I do like to see as much as I can, out of a pay-per-view and stuff like that. I mean, don't get me wrong, you don't got to buy them anymore, right? It's on Peacock. So you're not really losing out like, you used to. Back in the day, you pay $50 for a pay-per-view. It's like, man, I want to see everything I can. So, I don't know. I'm kind of iffy with it.
Yeah. JT?
Less is more, I say. Like, if you have like 5 at least like very solid matches versus like someone who has like 10 to 12 matches and like half the matches are like lackluster or like even like complete shit. Like, you don't want anything. Like, you want more quality than more quantity. Like, when it comes to like pay-per-views.
Right, I agree. Yeah, that's my take. So basically, I don't necessarily, it doesn't need to stick to 5 card, but I do like it. I'm on the side that says it gives it more time. If you can't make the 5 card, chances are your feud wasn't that good. Yes, some of them are and doesn't need to make it, but this is definitely better. And it's like maybe 6, maybe 7, but the problem is then those cards, they get rushed. You see it with WrestleMania still, right? Because they have so many matches at WrestleMania. Jay and Jimmy, they blame their match on the time, right? Mm-hmm. So we see that issue with the time. I don't think they necessarily need to have longer cards. I mean, we got weekly programming. You get fucking 14 PLEs a year. Make it happen. Earn it.
Well, you know what? On the flip side of that, though, there is a lot of talent that doesn't get exposed. So I mean, less is more. I feel like, but there also is a flip side to that. There's a lot of talent that's not getting the exposure that they need. Some of the undercards.
True.
Yeah. Now our time limit's done, but I do actually have a little part B on this, so I'm gonna give us a couple more seconds. A lot of people are saying maybe the solution to the lack of exposure opportunity is that we cut down on the ads. They say there's too much commercial time, too much segment time. Personally, I think that those are time. First of all, I like the commentary, right? Obviously, we're commentating. I like the commentary, and I personally, for me, I use the ad times and segment times to go take a piss, grab a beer, roll up a J, order a pizza, talk about the previous match with your buddies. So personally, I think that time's crucial. And, I know some people watch it alone and already got their setup. So they're like, fuck it, get in the next match. And I could do that during a jobber match too. I just feel like it's not worth adding it. What do you think?
Gotcha. Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, and like you said, I mean, it does add to like the live event feel when they start talking about, the match coming up and the storyline. They kind of lead you in. A lot of people don't watch all the SmackDowns and Raws leading up to the, to the match, so they don't really know all the important footnote, notes of the storyline. So, I guess it all works out. It just depends on, how they do it. You know what I mean? If it's good, it's good. If it's not, it's not.
It's not. It's a good, delicate balance, and I think those segments do catch up people, and they're kind of essential. But you're right; it's a delicate balance, and you either hit all chords, or you fuck them all up.
Yeah.
All right. So.
Me personally, like, I don't really mind like the ads because like like separates it a little bit. But what I do think they should bring back is like how they used to have those like like promo packages back in the day that gets you hyped up for the matches. That's what I really miss because they don't really have enough of those anymore.
Oh yeah, no, agreed.
It's true. You only really see those on like the road to WrestleMania.
Yeah.
But for the most
we
part,
need more shit like how they had like The Rock and Stone Cold WrestleMania 17.
Yeah.
They need more shit like that to make you ready for that.
I didn't even notice that, dude. But you're right. Now that I'm thinking about it, Money in the Bank, did we see any promo packages?
Not that I remember that stands out to me, But yeah, that's a good point, Jeff. I used to love those. I mean, that Rock and Stone Cold one's legendary, right? I mean, that one's like, Yeah, that one's one of the best of all time. You
Only
know,
one I remember seeing recently is probably like at WrestleMania, Cody Rhodes and Roman. That's
Yeah,
really
that was
like
fire.
about it.
Those Cody and Roman ones were fire.
yeah. Did they have one for Money in the Bank between
think
Cody and
so.
the? I can't
Bloodline?
remember now.
I don't remember.
But let's move it on though. Fuck it.
Yeah. Let's move on.
The cops are about to fucking write us a fine.
Stop! You're making me look. I don't have nothing.
Right. He's at the park. He's
If you
actually
didn't have
outside.
drugs in your pocket, you wouldn't have to worry.
Oh, I had those at the house.
All right, so we got the announcement: 2-night SummerSlam coming in 2025 in Minnesota. They did this because Minnesota lost the WrestleMania bid. No doubt, they're gonna probably make all the big fours 2 nights. What do you think about 2 nights extending beyond WrestleMania?
Well, you know what? I think SummerSlam is one of the main big pay-per-views. And right now, in particular, wrestling's hot, and they got to jump on, they got to keep adding to the fire right now. And I think a lot of people want to see 2 nights of SummerSlam. There's enough talent to go around. We were just talking about the 5 matches. It's time to get CM Punk in there. Get let me see McIntyre and Punk. Let me see the Bloodline. Let me see Roman Reigns come back. There's a lot of rumors he's coming back for SummerSlam. So I don't know. Yeah, I think it's a good idea this year at least.
JT.
Honestly, I really like how they moved the WrestleMania to 2 nights. I wouldn't mind like the bigger pay-per-views. I would say specifically SummerSlam and maybe the Royal Rumble too. I wouldn't mind the Royal Rumble being 2 nights too, because they could do the Women's Royal Rumble one night and the Men's Royal Rumble one night. So like, I'm perfectly fine with the 2-night pay-per-views for like the big ones, and I would I say because you can put more talent on the card too without you watching so many hours at one time, because that can kind of be a little exhausting.
Yeah, I agree. This is the perfect solution to our previous problem of opportunity, right? And if you only do it 4 times a year and you do it at the big ones, think about it. SummerSlam is Mini Mania, and then, like you said, Royal Rumble and Survivor Series. The War Games matches and the Rumbles, those take up a lot of the card. So to give those more space to breathe and not have to rush them makes those all that much more better, and allowing you to use those nights to give more talent. I think it's a great call. I wish it started before 2025. Who knows? It might, though. We don't know yet. But I really like that idea of 2 nights.
I'll say that's one good thing we got out of the pandemic era is them switching WrestleMania to 2 nights.
Yeah. And I mean, like like Iceberg said, and like you said, JT, the pandemic, they saw that people were willing to put the time in, and ever since then, we've seen a wrestling boom. So might as well take advantage of it. Here's our next topic. Should John Cena win the Intercontinental title before retiring? A lot of people, this is his farewell tour coming up. He's going to do a whole year. Or just about. It's the only title he hasn't won. So some people are saying he should. What do you think, Iceberg?
Oh, this is a tough one because he gave himself a year, and there's so much you can do. And I'm wondering what they would do with him, right? I mean, are they going to throw him into the championship mix? Are they going to maybe? I think the IC belt maybe, or is he just going to get into like a feud, do we want to watch John Cena have the match with everybody he hasn't had a match with yet, or are you going to pair him with somebody who he's been great with in his past and kind of reignite that old fire? I wouldn't be surprised if he made a championship, the world heavyweight title run, the one with that Drew McIntyre had and damn, what's his name? Who's got the belt right now? What's his name from Sami Zayn? So I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if he made a run for that one at least.
Yeah. JT, what you think?
No, I don't. Honestly, I don't think he should win another belt. I think he should become more of an interesting character. Because I'm gonna be honest, John Cena the last like 3-4 years, he's been completely boring to me. Like he needs to either do they're probably not gonna do it like a heel run or something like that, or just like do something where he changes his character a little bit, like make him more interesting. Because like I said, I don't think he's been interesting at all. And then maybe like find like someone new and up and coming he can put over at WrestleMania. I would say like something along that line.
I agree with you a little bit, Jeff. I don't think necessarily just because it's the only one he has it, just because he's retiring, just because he's a legend, we should give him an IC run. I don't really believe in that thing. I do agree he has been boring the last few years as well. But I think a lot of it has to do with just coming in to put over new talent. That's all he's been doing. Giving him a 10-month run gives him a lot of options. If they do it right, you could do you could do a middle feud. That could be the IC. He can't go against Sammy. They're both baby faces. So maybe Shad Gable.
Real quick, he can't get much more interesting, man. He's a mega superstar actor. It's John Cena. Like, why would you make him more interesting when he's retiring? So I gotta see classics. I
think with him we could hit all fours. We could put people over in the beginning, an IC run in the middle, and then a just straight fucking classic feud. Send them off like Shawn Michaels did the Flair style.
You have to. You have to.
Yeah,
you have to.
Absolutely. So that could be interesting. I'm ready for that. Next topic. We're running a little low on time because I ran over, so let's hit this one quick. SummerSlam card predictions. Okay, what do we got confirmed so far? We got Liv and Rhea. We got Bayley and Nia Jax. We got Gunther and Damian Priest. Those are three. If we're going off the 5-card format, what do you think the next two matches will be, Iceberg?
Real quick, I'm just going to keep it short and sweet. I want to see Roman Reigns back. I want him Bloodline versus Bloodline. I think they're going to work that in. Even if that's not the actual card, I feel like at the end of that show, Roman's coming back. It's going to be Bloodline versus Bloodline. And, other than that, I can't give you too many other predictions, but I really want to see that one. I really want to see that.
Right, JT?
Okay, so you said what? You said Rhea versus Liv. I'll go. I think Rhea's gonna win that unless like Liv maybe like cheats or something like that. And then what was the other one?
Bayley and Nia.
I want Bayley to win, but I will say this. I've kind of been liking Nia a little bit lately, like compared to like how she used to be. Like she's been on point with a lot of things. So I think Bayley should win that one. And then what was the other one?
Damian and Gunther.
Damian. I think Damian's gonna win that. But I do see Gunther winning the title very soon, though, within probably the next 3 months or so.
So I actually agree. I think Damian's gonna win. He had to humble Gunther a little bit. He's been too dominant. It gives him something to challenge. The Bloodline, I don't necessarily see him coming in yet. I feel like that's going to culminate at War Games, so maybe a little bit later. I definitely think that those individuals need to build themselves more, and this could be an opportunity. Maybe put the tag, put them up, or put Fatu and KO, or let's get them in some sort of match. Those three that haven't built up so much. Let's get them brought up. It's definitely a high possibility we get CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre versus Seth Rollins.
Yeah, a triple threat.
That would go crazy.
Yeah, that would be a banger.
Yeah.
That would be a banger for sure.
That'd be
for
all
sure.
banging.
Yeah, because CM Punk's cleared, right?
Yeah.
Or he will be.
I mean, I'm pretty sure he's already cleared, and they're just not saying it.
I think any
Yeah.
time now he'll be cleared if he's not already.
Yeah.
All right, on to the next one. We got can the New Day succeed without Big E? As you all know, or maybe you don't, Iceberg, maybe you missed this one. Big E was the third member of the New Day, hugely successful, world champion on his own right, as well as Kofi.
He hurt his neck, right?
Yeah, he got injured by getting flipped on his head on the botched move.
But he's done, right?
He's done. He's out. Probably permanently. Can the New Day find success without him?
Yeah. I think they were good beforehand. I know. Don't get me wrong. I fairly know that. Yeah, as individuals. Yeah. I think Kofi, right?
Yeah.
He's the real main star of that. And Biggie was great, and I think I like Biggie on the mic anyway. Even, you know what though? To your question though, can New Day succeed? Maybe not New Day. Maybe they start their own. You know, they go into their own little thing. So maybe you're right. Maybe they don't succeed if it's like that. But I think the rest of the talent would be just fine without Biggie.
JT.
I think they can succeed, but I think Big E was a very important piece in that group because he has the most charisma out of Xavier and Kofi. Like, I think he has the most charisma, and like he has the energy. I think they're not as entertaining as they were when they had Big E, but
Yeah.
I do think I think Kofi and Xavier should just go their like separate paths. I don't think it should be like one turning on another, like you know how they do most things. I think they should just go a separate path. And I would like to see Xavier Woods have like his own little run at a mid card title or something too.
Yeah. I'm not sure how they play it. They definitely can succeed. They can succeed separate, or they can succeed together. They did before. And like you said, even though Big E was that like major charisma, Kofi has charisma, Xavier has charisma. Kofi is definitely like, I think Kofi Kingston could do very well on his own now that he's had that behind him. However, I think we should redefine succeed. I think what they're going to do now is they're going to put over new talent. You see they're working with Final Testament, with Alpha Academy. I think they can succeed at putting others over because they're not broken, you know, and their time is past anyways. So
they don't really have anything else to prove at this point in their career anyway.
If we redefine succeed, they should be just fine. And that's our buzzer. So now we got, does Randy Orton ever win another world title? Iceberg.
Yes. I could see him definitely winning the World Heavyweight Championship. Maybe not the one that Kobe's holding. Actually, you know what? I take that back because you know what? He's got Cody's back, right? And I could totally see after this little bloodline thing, you know, Orton kind of, you know, drops the bomb on him a little bit and is like, hey, you know what? I had your back. I want this belt, and I think I deserve a title. And even if it's not a straight up hatred feud type thing, more of like a respect. Hey, I'm gonna, you know, two athletes, you know, two baby faces. We're gonna go in there and we're gonna have a hell of a match. I could see that. I could definitely see that.
JT.
I agree. I think he might win one more, and I do think I'm gonna put this out there. I think he's gonna be the one to take the title off of Cody Rhodes. I think, although he's too likable, he's best as a heel. Like, I want him to turn on Cody Rhodes, and then they have that little history with a legacy and all that, I think that would be a
Yeah.
perfect feud for Cody because he hasn't really had like like that feud just yet, and I think that would be the one to help elevate Cody as a champion.
On that note, that's exactly why I think that feud will happen, but Cody Rhodes will keep the title because this is needed to elevate Cody, much like Triple H and Batista, or Triple H and Randy Orton, right, or whatever. The mentor always has to lose to the new blood to make him stronger. So I don't see him taking that title off of Cody in that scenario, and that makes me question whether he will ever win one again. Now, the good news is this guy is a different animal, and he's much he's still going, and he's still going strong. So as long as he stays healthy and can go at the level he is for another 3 years, he should be able to win another one. Because, like you said,
hey, but real quick though, do you think? Hey, real quick though, do you think that Cody is gonna hold the belt as long as Roman?
No.
I mean, do you see that happening? I mean, I know they built this thing up for so long, but it's like
I don't think as long as Roman, but definitely probably close to 2 years.
You think he defends it so much that he's gonna lose it and get it back? It's gonna be like one of them guys.
I was about to say something about that one.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I'll say I'll give it a year, 9 months to a year. I don't think he's gonna hold it nowhere near as long as like Roman did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Kelly has a point though on that. We'll probably be able to get a like a back and forth out of it. Maybe that's what they do with the Randy and Cody thing. Maybe Cody does lose it to Randy, and he has to get it back
because he's a fighting champion. I mean, he defends it so much, it only makes sense for him to lose it every once in a while and get it right back.
Get it back, yeah. I mean, Randy will be the guy, and that would give him his other.
Maybe Cody loses the title in like a triple threat match where he doesn't, get pinned or anything like that.
There you go.
And Randy wins it, and then that he's like, I want my title match or whatever, and then
personally, I would prefer it be straight up because that just makes it all the more personal.
Sure.
Adding another person takes it away from it a little bit, gives an excuse. Like, I didn't really lose. If you're going to take it off of him and have to have him win it back, he needs to lose.
It just depends on It just depends on if they're going to protect him like that or not. You know what I mean? Like, and Jeff's point of view, the triple threat, he doesn't get pinned. Oh, he never really beat the champion. But like how you're saying though, I think it would almost be reasonable for him to lose because he's defending it so much and it's against such great talent. You know what I mean? And then he'll drop one. And then for him to come back and get it, that almost gives him like the Muhammad Ali feel because Muhammad Ali lost it, came back, got it. You know what I mean? So I don't know.
Yeah,
we'll see.
No, yeah, we're gonna have to see. This one's interesting for sure. Anyway, next topic. Does AJ Styles succeed long term as a heel?
Oh man, I don't like him as a heel. I mean, I don't know. I guess he's pretty good as a heel. I personally just don't like him as a heel, but that's just my opinion. So yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's a long-term thing. I could definitely see him coming back as a baby face easily. Yeah, that's just my thing.
I feel you. That's a toss-up for you.
Yeah, it really is.
Me, I'm the complete opposite. I love him as a heel. I think he's more, entertaining as a heel when it comes to character-wise. In-ring wise, I think he's better as a babyface. But as a character, I think he's always been better as a heel. But like, if he's in the right feuds, sure, I think he could for sure be a long-term heel. My thing is like, how much longer is he gonna be like competing for?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Personally, I don't like him as a babyface. Never have, never will. It's just not there for me. I like him as as a heel. I prefer him as a heel over babyface. But like you said, how much longer can he compete? Well, he is still competing at a high level, much like Randy Orton. So he's still got that. As long as everything goes right and it's in his cards, he's still got that 3-year window where he could still win another one. The question is, can he find the right opponents to put over and make compelling? And should they put that time for him, or should they give it to someone
Hey,
else?
I'm going to tell you right now, full disclosure, AJ Styles is not a main event guy to me, bro. I've never been a big fan of AJ Styles. He's just I get he's very talented inside the ring, but other than that, he's never drawn no money for me. I mean, I've never seen AJ Styles just I'm pretty sure he hasn't drawn that much money, man. I'm not gonna lie. Maybe in TNA.
Did you see
Hey
his
man,
feud with John Cena? Like, I would say that was like one of his like best feuds in
Well, there you go, John Cena
it
though.
was great.
Yeah, John Cena.
And they
You
put
know what I
on a
mean?
banger match at SummerSlam. Was it 2016, 2017?
Yeah, I even like the one he did with Undertaker too during COVID, where it was like almost like a movie. I love that, but it was again, it's the Undertaker, you know.
and you're not wrong. Yeah, I mean, whether it's the people he's with or him, like you said, for me personally, I just see here and there. Here and there, I like his stuff. I don't think he's that guy in general. I know a lot of people will hate me for that, but I definitely think if he has any success at going any further, it's definitely as a heel. Let's run on to the next topic. Can a women's mid card work? Iceberg, what you think?
Oh man, I love the women in the WWE. Man. I think you throw them on TV, everybody watches. I'm just gonna put that out there right now. Anybody anybody who's nitpicking them, is probably gay. That's just my
puberty.
right. Or hasn't hit puberty. They're little boys. Yeah, they're watching the wrong thing. I could see, big booties jumping around all day, girls filling up on each other all damn day. I know that's not the wrestling thing to say, but this is also a TV show, and I like when bitches fight, man. It's fucking cool.
Since beginning of time, sex sells, not just for females. Females love muscular, sweaty men.
And you know what? They're super talented too. I mean, no bullshit. I mean, these guys. I mean, these girls have really came a long way since I was a fan, where it was all about the TNA. You know what I mean? It was all about tits and ass. You know what I mean? Now these girls are actually athletes. They're fighting. You know what I mean? I love it.
Sometimes I think their matches outshine the men's.
No doubt.
I agree.
No doubt.
So, I mean, did you see that Money in the Bank of the men's versus the women's?
Oh yeah, that was
last year's
really
War Games. I mean,
yeah, Money in the Bank. The women's one was way better. They had, even the botches were cool. You know what I mean? Like, those were hardcore.
Zoe Stark hit 2 botches. Lyra Valkyria hit a botch, but it was just like they were even good at their botches. Like the one where Lyra Valkyria tried to run up the ropes and she fell. Io Sky immediately did a sandbag to sell it. It's like she sandbagged Lyra coming off the ropes, but we know she tripped up. Come on, like Zoe Stark getting her fucking head off the fucking ladder on the flip. But it's just those aren't botches where you're like, what the fuck? You're like, it
was cool to see,
better, bro.
Yeah,
it was really cool. So I definitely think a big card can work, and most importantly, there's a ton of them now, right?
Right.
So people are like, what do we do with them? What? And they're like, we don't want to keep seeing them paired up as random tag teams because it's watering down the tag division. We need real tag teams like, Katana Carter or Chance or whatever, they look like a tag team. Jade and Bianca, whatever. Io Scott, Damage Control. Those are real tag teams. So I think there's a lot of people like Zoe Stark, Shayna Baszler, Lyra Valkyria, Tiffany Stratton. We could definitely get a mid-card going.
For sure. For sure.
Yeah, I think mid-card would work, but I don't know how they'll do it. Like, I think they should only have...
You're done, bro.
I'm messing with you.
No, let me wait until this goes off, though.
Yeah.
All right.
But I think it can work, but I don't know how they'll do it. I think they should only have one mid-card title, not like, how like the men's have the Intercontinental in the United States. But I don't know how they'll do it because I don't want it to be like, how they have the women's tag to where it's like definitely like overshadowed and like has barely been used. I think if done right, I think it's perfectly fine to have a women's mid-card title.
Real quick, let's remember too, they're about to be on Netflix, rated R. That's all I gotta say.
More Braun.
You know what I mean? So that's gonna open up the door for a lot. You'll see.
They could definitely do one mid-card title. They only have one tag title too, so same concept. We could run it like that, no problem. These are proving grounds. These aren't representing your brand, But it's funny you say that about those tag teams because that is definitely a topic in our mid-card. Our mid-card, not the women's mid-card. The next topic, are the Final Testament broken?
Wait, who's the Final Testament?
Exactly.
I'm gonna be honest. I haven't really paid much attention to the Final Testament, so I'm gonna let you guys go and then I'm gonna give my opinion.
The Final Testament, that's the one with Karrion Kross and the Authors of Pain and Scarlett Bordeaux. Right now they're working with the New Day.
Okay.
Oh
wait. These are women?
No, it's Scarlett Bordeaux. Karrion Kross is a man.
He's
Scarlett's
basically a woman, though.
Yeah, Authors of Pain.
Hey, over my head, bro. I feel like I heard somebody talking about the Final Testament. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think I paid any attention to this. I'm not gonna lie.
I haven't even watched the YouTube clips on them. Really,
these guys got so much potential, bro. The Authors of Pain. They've been trying to get the Authors of Pain pushed since like 2016, but they've had some issues with injuries, and then like they got put on the back burner because the whole Vince and Triple H thing, and they just Karrion Kross, same thing, huge in NXT. Vince kind of fucked them up. Triple H put them back on. So these are Triple H guys, and they're just really struggling to find a home. But I don't think they're broken. I actually think the opposite. I think they got a lot of potential, but they're not.
So if they're Triple H guys, then they gotta be talented and these guys gotta be good. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think they are. I just don't think that they've gotten the proper time yet, and so maybe. That's what when we get them double night cards, and I don't know, man. I don't think they're broken. I just don't think that they're being used properly. And that's not their fault. So Triple H really needs to figure it out with them because he also he's doing that with Lashley and the Street Profits. And I know Lashley and the Hurt Business, they were doing real good until Vince fucked them up. So that kind of hurt them, and it's kind of hard to get behind them in another faction. But these are talented people, and most importantly, they have tag teams, solid, real tag teams, not two randos put together, but tag teams. Like they're thematic. So we can't let these factions fail. These tag teams need to be built, and that's why those factions are together. So they better get it together.
Yeah. Okay. I'll look into them more.
We can do it, I'm gonna bring it up again later in the mid card because we got a topic on that as well. Next, run the ropes topic, and second to last, we got the NXT TNA crossover. What are your thoughts on Joe Hendry and Jordan Grace coming over from TNA? Let's start with you, JT, on this one.
Wait, okay, I was thinking if he was gonna appear real quick, but I think he's really good. Like, personally, I've never really been a fan of like the sing gimmicks and all that, but he does it so well. Like, he's not just like a good like entertainer. Like, he's actually really good in the ring too. And I think he'd be perfect. Like, once his TNA contract's up, be perfect in the WWE. Like, honestly, he's one of my favorites right now, and I think they're gonna do more with him for sure.
Yeah. I think this partnership, a lot of the complaints with the TNA AEW partnership was that all of the titles were on AEW people. They were always defended on AEW, that it wasn't doing anything for TNA. And personally, I always said, well, what the fuck do you expect? Like, they're the bigger brand. They're still bringing eyes to your title. So I never really hated on that. I actually defended it. But it is nice, I'll admit, to see these TNA people actually getting love in the WWE. No, Jordan Grace didn't win that title, which why would she, right? You're not going to give your title to these guys. But putting her in a title match, that's a big move on WWE's part. Putting Joe Hendry in these high-profile matches with these to give them promos, backstage segments, that's saying a lot for WWE to give TNA that much spotlight.
All I can say is I know they believe.
Yeah, I mean, I listen. I think I don't even, I didn't follow these guys too much, but I will say though, I love seeing NXT and TNA talent rising through the ropes a little bit, and rising up in WWE and getting their shot and seeing what they can do, against the big boys, against they're in the big leagues now. You know what I mean? And so yeah, it should be interesting. It's going
to be interesting to see what happens. Like Jeff said, I mean, what's the relationship going to look like after, a couple of these guys jump ship?
Yeah, I don't know if you guys watched any of his TNA stuff, but it's legendary. Like, his stuff is really good, especially with AJ Francis, also known as Top Dollar. Like, his feud with him and TNA has been like really good, and like he makes like those little he makes like diss songs about like the people he's going up against, like
the Acclaimed.
Like, they're really good.
I'm gonna be honest with you. After Scott got fired from TNA, I stopped watching again. So
watch Joe Hendry, like at least watch his the songs he made. Like, they're actually like hilarious.
I haven't watched TNA since Scott Hall's been on it. Let's put it like no, I'm playing around.
That's funny. All right. So this is the last run the ropes category. I'm gonna turn the timer off on this. I actually got something a little different. So I came across this list online. It was like the ECW, WWF, WCW most underrated. So they got a list of wrestlers on here. So I'm gonna go through them, and you say yay or nay, why, and just make it real quick, okay?
Yeah.
All right. Al Snow, Iceberg, underrated or not?
Yeah, he's underrated. Because right now he's got his own promotion, I think. And he's a great wrestler behind the scenes. Like, he does a lot of stuff behind the scenes. He's got a great mind for the business. And you know what? That little run he had at WWF, where he pretty much what he was known for, was pretty solid. I mean, he was over like Rover.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
JT.
I say I say yay. Yeah, he was. He had the charisma, and if you can get a mannequin head over, like you gotta have like some kind of like talent if you can get a damn
What does
mannequin
everybody
head.
want?
Head.
Right? Yeah.
That's like pure attitude era. Using the
Hell yeah.
innuendo. That I mean, the guy is really talented. Like you said, he's one of those guys who has a like Triple H or Dean Malenko. He has the mind beyond the run on the canvas that they gave him. So he definitely underrated, definitely for sure. Next up, Ultimo Dragon, Air Name.
Oh, dude. Ultimo Dragon was the shit. Um, I think he was the only one in WCW that ran it, could keep up with. Well, I won't say he's the only one, but him and only a handful could run it with Rey Mysterio. Um, Ultimo Dragon had a lot of hype coming into WCW. That's where I know him from. I know he was great in Japan and other promotions, Lucha Libre and all that. But yeah, he was amazing in WCW. I definitely say he's underrated.
JT.
Uh, I would say properly rated. Honestly, like I don't think he was like because like his moveset was like top of the line like for luchadors like back then. But like I wouldn't say like like he didn't really cut promos like that, or well, he didn't really need to cut promos, but like
Yeah, he didn't cut any promos.
I
Yeah.
don't know.
You know,
Like
I
honestly, I don't really think I really saw enough of him to really say if he was like completely underrated. Like I saw only maybe a handful of his matches. I know
yeah.
he's
So
definitely one of the best luchadors there was.
I agree. So the problem here is a lot of Mexican or Japanese stars, they don't really translate well to American wrestling because they can't cut promos because they don't speak the
Yeah.
language, or if they do, it's not that great, So a lot of guys, they have a language barrier. They don't do well in the thing, and a lot of people will say that that's what makes them underrated. They're so good wrestling, and they were so good doing promos in their country. So in my opinion, I don't think they deserve an underrated title just because of that. I think that you're exactly where you belong because that's exactly the skill set you limited yourself to.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
and
tell you
cutting
what,
promos is a big part of pro wrestling too. You gotta
it
at
is.
least cut a decent promo if you want to be a top star.
It is. But I'm gonna tell you right now,
Unless you're amazing in the
you
ring.
had you had Rey Mysterio in WWE, right? If you would have did him like 1 year later, you would have brought Ultimo Dragon into the WWF just even for a one-off with Rey Mysterio. It would have drew money. It would have drew big money.
Wasn't
That's all I'm gonna
he in
say.
the wasn't he in the WWE for like a couple months or something like that?
He might have been. I don't
But he
remember.
didn't.
I
I
don't
know
remember
it
that
was
run.
very very brief. I remember he was in SmackDown Here Comes the Pain, but I don't really remember anything other than like him being in that game.
Yeah.
Let me
Yeah.
see. Ultimo Dragon WWE. Doesn't. Wait, hold on. No, it doesn't look like it. It says 2019. Okay. Oh, yeah, 2003. Impressive debut, 2003. That's crazy.
How long did
Oh
it say
wow.
the debut was?
2003.
Was it like a one-off?
Oh, I didn't look that far into it. But next wrestler, Lance Storm. Yay or nay, Iceberg?
Trash.
Hey, honesty.
Trash. I never liked him. Maybe he was okay in the ring. He was one of them guys, right? He was one of them guys that like everybody had a lot of hype on, and people like in the industry really liked him. But it never translated to me though.
Yeah, he's one of the guys who's like a really technical wrestler. So like people want to say he's underrated. Just like Ultimo, really good in the ring, right? But once
Right.
again, there's three prongs to this business: ring work, promo work, / crowd work, and character. And unfortunately, Lance Storm falls under this umbrella of characters like,
no charisma.
Yeah,
I
no
was about to
charisma.
say the same thing.
These like European tough guys, like that character has never sold well.
No.
Yeah.
Never. So, that's just not that wasn't it for him. I think he's right where he belongs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Damn, that guy got 3 nays. That's crazy.
Yeah, like he was a really good technical wrestler, but he had 0 charisma and 0 like mic work. You gotta have at least like 2 of the 3 to be considered a top guy.
Yeah. So next one, Goldust. Yay or nay, Iceberg.
Is he underrated? I think he's a big star, man. Especially 1992, 1993, 94, and then I mean, we all know who his dad was, you know what I mean, and who his brother is. But I guess that's not him. I've always liked his ring work. I think the fact that he took that Goldust character which was basically a cross-dressing, like a trans, and he made that character work, man. I mean, that character was
too.
For years.
That's really a sack of potato ass character. He got that because he was Dusty's kid.
Yep.
And he fucking turned it around and
that was supposed to bury him.
Mm-hmm.
So for the fact that he turned that around, to me, I mean, I don't know if he's underrated, man. I think he's up there.
I seen a picture that said it encapsulated the Attitude Era in one picture, and it was Mankind giving Taker the mandible claw, and his fucking mouth is swollen, and Goldust is coming over him and licking his ear. So I'm not sure he was underrated. I agree, but I can see where people are saying it because he never really won any titles.
He didn't win any titles.
He won the IC.
Yeah, he won the IC. He went back and forth with Razor for the IC. And, Razor, listen, I don't know if Razor's going to be on this list, but, Razor didn't win any belts. And to me, he's a GOAT.
That's true. That's true. Razor didn't win. Yeah. Someone say one IC run is in a line, they'll say, that's.
I feel like he never needed it. He never needed it. He was one of them guys that could lose and still be on top. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
and granted that IC WrestleMania, that was his WrestleMania moment, but it's like, but you had a WrestleMania moment. So I agree. I don't think Goldust is underrated at all.
But I will say, he's like I'm gonna say this. He's severely underrated. I'm gonna say this. You were there. The first Double or Nothing. Him and Cody Rhodes. They put on an absolute banger, and that's like later in his career.
And
if he can make a character like that work, not just for like a little bit, for years, like. Yeah, he's like really good. Like I think he's a Hall of Famer.
You could call him underrated because under the same Al Snow logic, right? He's that good to where he can do it with multiple characters, where he has a bigger understanding of it. He has his own promotion. He's training people. Maybe he is, maybe he isn't. I'll throw a coin up on that one. How about that?
Yeah.
So next one, William Regal.
William Regal is a solid wrestler, man. Listen, I'll tell you, my favorite William Regal is when he beat the shit out of Goldberg in the ring. So Goldberg was getting pushed, right? Obviously, we know undefeated streak. He was a monster. He was rolling over everybody. And we all heard the story. Any wrestling fan, probably whoever's watching this already knows the interview, whatever. But he basically, they told him to give Goldberg like a 10-minute match, which was unheard of at the time. And Goldberg didn't know what he was doing, man. And fucking William Regal just started kicking him in his head hard as hell and started putting him in some moves and shit. No, I like him as a heel. I feel like he had underrated mic skills. and he was obviously one of those technical wrestlers. See, his wrestling was real pretty, man. You know, I like that wrestling. I like those holds. You know, it was like aesthetically pleasing. You know, he wasn't the big muscle guy, you know what I mean, and all the big spots, but I would say he's
underrated. Yeah, I feel like
I would say he's underrated.
Came around when Flair was around, he'd have been bigger.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, he was. Yeah,
I think he's too underrated. Like I'm kind of mad he never at least held the world title once. Like when as far as like with technical skills, like he was pretty good on the mic.
He was really good at
putting people over.
Yeah.
Like I think he should have held the world title at least once. And even when he wasn't really like wrestling like that, like when he was like a Raw GM, like I hated his ass because of like how good of a heel he was in that role.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely underrated, William Regal. Next up, Brian Pillman. Underrated or not?
Oh man, so that's tough because Brian Pillman had a lot of hype when he got signed to the WWF. He was really good in ECW, but he never got his shine because he had this bum ankle that just never got better. It never got better. And of all his WWE run, he was literally injured. I mean, super injured. And so for him to do what he did, you know, he had that nice story with Stone Cold. That was probably his, you know, claim to fame was that infamous. You know, he pulled the gun out. Yeah, he pulled a gun out on Stone Cold. So, yeah, so you know, and he had good promos. He was like a, you know, he was like the grungy. He had like that grunge, you know, that '90s grunge kind of character. Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, to me, like I said, his run was so short. He ended up passing away really young. So maybe he's not necessarily underrated. He might be rated exactly where he's supposed to be at, but he was a great talent. You know, great talent.
Yeah,
that's what I can say about him.
With that. I think he wasn't underrated because once again, he was limited due to certain reasons. That sucks, but that doesn't mean he's underrated. He had as much hype as he could with the time that he had. You know.
Yeah, I'll say honestly, I think he is underrated, at least as like a like a character. Because I'll say this, the loose cannon gimmick is like one of my top 5 favorite gimmicks. And like he was one of like the first wrestlers to really like do like like those work shoot promos. When he showed up in ECW, he started going off saying all kinds of shit. Like you didn't know what to expect when it came to what he was gonna say or do on the mic. He's an absolute legend in my opinion, and he definitely passed away too young before he was able to like do what he could have done.
Good point. Next up, Perry Saturn.
Trash.
I agree. I never was a fan.
Yeah. He never had a gimmick that stuck with me. He was trash on the mic, and you know, he had a good look. He looked like a tough guy. He looked like somebody that could, but he just looked like a henchman. He was always on the bottom. He was always like, so yeah.
I like he's like a Goldberg with no hype or no charisma.
Yeah, I like them for a mid card. I think he's rated right where he should be.
Because he was never really up there.
Yeah. How about Fit Finlay? Underrated?
Fit Finlay.
No.
He's another one with William Regal, right? Same style, just hard nose. His punches always looked real. Like he always looked like he was hurting you in the ring, which was, that's like the whole thing, right? And his promos were like for being him, like he was always him. right? So like he was always just fit Finlay, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but obviously it didn't, main event, he's not a, but
Yeah.
yeah,
His
so
character never really sold the same way his moves sold.
yeah, and he had that run with the midget, right? Who ended up saying he was Hornswoggle. Yeah, and he had the whole shillelagh. He was beating people's ass with that thing. I like Fit Finlay, but I don't know if he's I don't know if he's underrated in my opinion.
I wouldn't say he's underrated either.
Yeah, I would say he's properly rated. He's like kind of like in the category of William Regal, but he doesn't really have that aura that William Regal had. Like he's a solid
William's
wrestler.
a little bit above.
He's a solid wrestler, like good character, but he wasn't really like I couldn't see him holding like a main title. I mean, I could see him competing like for a world title or a mid card, but never actually like winning.
How about Tajiri?
I never liked Tajiri. I know that Tajiri had some great matches. Who did he fight? Was it Rey Mysterio?
I think so.
He had a really good run with Rey Mysterio.
Or was it Chavo?
I can't remember now. It was a good run.
He had some good matches. He did great for what he was there for. I liked Tajiri, but this guy was never going to be a big star for two reasons.
Yeah.
One, he was small, bro. And two, once again, he couldn't speak English, so you can't cut a promo.
All right.
He was good in the ring, though.
He had a great character.
He was
great in the ring, but I mean, without being able to connect with that crowd verbally, you couldn't put together a packet for him. You couldn't put together a feud for him. It was really meaningful. So I mean,
it's not like he didn't get a push at all because he did hold the cruiserweight title and all that too. So like I'd say he was properly rated. Like he wasn't really like lower card, but he held that cruiserweight title and had some good runs there.
He had a good run with X-Pac. That's who I was thinking of. He had a classic against X-Pac. Yeah, when X-Pac was doing his thing.
So how about Konnan? Underrated or not?
Yeah, so Konnan, I didn't know at the time watching it, but Konnan was the one who brought in all the Lucha Libres to WCW. And I guess Konnan was like the Hulk Hogan of Mexico, right? Like that's the type of hype he had. And Konnan was a gangster, right? And I loved him in the NWO. I loved him in NWO Wolfpack, right? But, again, I watched his in-ring performance by the time WCW came around. He wasn't that good. I mean, he had the Rolling Thunder. He had some unique stuff. He had the Tequila Sunrise as the submission. Those were some unique moves, so I give him that. And on the mic, he was pretty good. He wasn't like spectacular, but man, he had the crowd popping. That's a tough one. I would say he's underrated just because of what he's done for the business, kind of like an Al Snow type. So yeah, I think he's underrated. I mean, I personally like him.
Here. I agree. He is underrated just for the fact of what he did, like for like the luchadors and for like the business in general. But I wouldn't say like he was the most outstanding, like in-ring performer. But he did okay, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Some nights he had it, some nights he didn't. You could tell he was mailing it in on some of the nights.
All right. Let's get these last few. Let's hit them fast and hard. Ready? Rhyno.
Yeah.
Yay or nay, Iceberg?
He's not. He's not that good. He's not that good.
All right. JT, yay or nay?
Properly rated. Like he was fine, and like his gore was really good, but you didn't really see him cut like like outstanding promos or
Look,
whatever.
I like Rhyno,
but he was solid, I would say.
He was solid, and that's why I liked him. But at the end of the day, these guys, Rhyno, Goldberg, Ryback, they're not.
Honestly, one of my favorite runs with him was with Heath Slater.
Yeah, but
That was hilarious.
these guys are never going to be guys that I'm going to say are underrated. He's properly rated. How about Diamond Dallas Page though?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he didn't get a fair shake in the WWF.
But not.
Yeah. And he's definitely underrated. So I could go on and on and on about DDP.
Yeah, I think he's the most underrated person that's going to be on this list, to be honest.
Yeah, because you know what? He was the people's champ in WCW. And they should, when he came into WWF, they should have gave him his proper run with The Rock.
People's
Should have been people versus people.
Yeah.
And The Rock should have went over. But you know, they shouldn't have made him a creep, like pedophile creep, like weirdo. You know what I mean? Like that was too much.
The fact that he was doing this into like his late 30s, early 40s, like he didn't start his career until he was 35, right?
Yeah.
Like he was putting on bangers in WCW. Then he went to WWF at the time, and they completely ruined his character.
He was the only one that didn't join the NWO. He had a legendary run against NWO, and he had a legendary run with Macho Man and Randy Savage. And he put on bangers, like you said. He cut
good promos too.
He cut amazing promos.
Great charisma.
His fucking wife was hot. All right, Kimberly Page. Shout out. That was my first crush. I was 5 years old. That's how I knew I wasn't gay. Yeah, straight up.
Just getting this little.
That's how you give someone a test if they're gay or not, to show them Kimberly Page, and that'll do it.
I was 5 years old. I didn't even know what to do with her, and I was just like, wow, I want to do something to her.
Picture be like, anything? Yeah. Kid, what about Billy Kidman?
Oh man, he again another one with a lot of potential, but just didn't pan out. No promo skills. Had some really good wrestling moves.
That shooting star press though was amazing. I'll say that.
Yeah, that shooting star looked always so. He looked like he was in slow motion doing the back. I mean, it was that was really good.
I still don't think anyone does a shooting star press as good as him.
No,
but I think that's the problem. I think he made that look so good that people believe he's underrated, and he's not.
Yep, I agree.
He was okay. I think he was good as a tag team wrestler, but I don't think he was good as a single star.
Yeah. How about Dean Malenko?
Dean Malenko, underrated, man. I mean, that guy, he had 3,000 holds, man of 3,000 holds or something like that. The Iceman. But you know what though? I'll tell you what. He was a little over. When he went to the WWF, he wasn't that over. And he didn't have any promo skills at all.
Yeah, I think you could put him as in the same category as Lance Storm, but I think he's a little bit better than Lance Storm, though.
Yeah, I think he's better than Lance Storm. I'll tell you that. I really like Dean Malenko. His wrestling was so pleasing to the eyes. It was so aesthetic.
So fluid.
Yeah, so fluid. So
I don't
know.
Great look, but like you said, he really didn't have that great of promos. And honestly, I kind of sometimes feel like it's because they didn't let him have that promo opportunity.
Yeah.
So that's where he kind of does fall under the underrated.
Because I heard an interview with Kevin Nash that he said that Dean Malenko was amazing backstage. He was funny. He was this. He was that. But they just never put him on the mic and let him be himself.
I wonder if it was where he was a different guy once he got the camera on him, or they just did.
Yeah.
I mean, wasn't he short?
He was very short. He was I remember he was doing all the Lucha Libre stuff, except for he wasn't like a high flyer, but he was little like them guys, and he would ground and pound them. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he would ground and pound on them guys.
That little guy, that's very hard for little guys to get over. So he definitely got shafted a bit for that. So underrated for me.
Yeah.
How about Raven?
Oh man, Raven. You know, I'm gonna say that Raven. I wasn't a huge fan of Raven, except for I did. I think he had amazing promos. He definitely did the ECW, WCW. He definitely did that like Nirvana grungy feel, like Brian Pillman did. Um, and he had, he did wrestle pretty good. I'm not gonna lie either, but I didn't like him. You know what I mean? Like I wasn't a huge fan of him. So maybe he could be underrated in a lot of people's minds. Me, I feel like hey, he was a mid carder for life.
JT.
Uh, I would say, yeah, he's underrated. He was decent in the ring, but I think that was overshadowed by his character because he had a really good character, but I don't
He
think his
did.
character was like really like pushed as much as it should have been. I don't think he should have been like, like a multi-time world champion or anything like that. But he should have probably at least like competed for the title at least a few times, held a couple mid-card titles. So I would say, yeah, he was pretty underrated.
I think I actually really liked Raven. But I would have to say no, he was underrated. And here's why. Because he had the hardcore title. He had the ECW title. He had mid-card titles. Lots of them,
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah. US champion, all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think he did pretty fair. Maybe he could have got a little more, but like I said, he was never going to be a world champ. And I think he had a good number of mid card titles to say no, he wasn't underrated.
Yeah.
Last one. What you think about Stevie Ray?
Stevie Ray
Booker T.
from Harlem Heat.
Yeah, from Harlem Heat. Underrated or no?
Not underrated at all. Harlem Heat as a tag team, one of the greatest tag teams of all time, in my opinion. I mean, at least top 10.
Yeah.
I mean, their gimmick was awesome. And Booker T was like the bounce around guy, and then Stevie Ray was the big muscle guy. And he was okay on the mic. He had a little run with NWO where he was on the mic a lot. But I'm not so sure he's underrated. I think he's.
So there's this thing that wrestling fans have an issue with, where there's a great legendary tag team, and they can't seem to understand that in every great tag team there is a solo competitor and a jobber. And
yeah, there's always one that's ahead of the other. Yeah, always.
Jeff
Scott
Hardy,
Steiner,
Matt Hardy.
Yeah.
Edge,
Scott Steiner, Rick Steiner.
Christian.
Yeah.
I mean, there's also tag teams
Shawn
where
Michaels,
tag team competitors too. Like, look at like FTR. Like, neither of them are gonna ever like compete for titles or anything like that.
But the thing is, he got all his recognition that he deserved as a tag team wrestler, in my opinion.
Right.
You were never. I mean, like Edge and Christian and Jeff and Matt. Like those are good competitors on both ends. Booker T, like if you do Jeff and Matt or Edge and Christian, you got to do Booker T and Stevie Ray.
Yeah, like, way on the bottom. Yeah.
So I don't think he's underrated.
Yeah, Booker T was definitely steps above his brother in the tag team, but they were great together. But as a solo competitor, definitely Booker T is steps ahead of Stevie Ray.
Yeah. All right. So that ends the Run the Ropes. I hit it with that underrated list as the last one. Now we're about to hit the mid card. All right. So we're gonna keep this to a. We guys think 5 minutes